Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or much good depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos, news updates. Illegal detention. Nnamdi Kanu petitions British House of Lords. Seeks intervention. Yes, that's what is happening now. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has petitioned the British House of Lords for urgent intervention in his detention case with the Nigerian government. Of course, you know that Onyendo possesses dual citizenship as a Nigerian and a Briton. He wrote the petition to his lawyers, describing himself as a political activist who is advocating for self-determination for the people of Biafra nation and the southeastern region of Nigeria. Of course, the petition dated January 18th, 2024, stated that Ipob is registered as a legal entity in the United Kingdom and has numerous offices and chapters around the world. He noted that Ipob, a group that was unjustly, illegally prescribed as a terrorist organization by former President Muhammadu Buhari government, operates in the open as non-violent group. Yes, Ipob operates in the open as a non-violent group. That's what the lawyers, that's what Onyendo is saying. Now, Onyendo recounted how his ordeal started in October 2015 when he was arrested in Lagos, Nigeria, a few days after he arrived from London, and was subsequently charged with treasonable offences stemming solely from his pro-Biafra broadcast on Radio Biafra from his location in London. Onyendo recalls how from September 10 to 14, 2017, Nigerian security forces led by the army attacked his home. Look at the petition. It goes this way. The security forces used live bullets and other leather munitions, and several people, including Mr. Kanu, his parents, now late, his siblings, children, women, the elderly, and numerous visitors who were at the said home with Mr. Kanu during the attacks. At the end of the attacks, Mr. Kanu's home was badly damaged. Dozens of people were killed, many were wounded and maimed, and the security forces captured several people alive and disappeared them to unknown locations to this day. In January 2022, a high court in Nigeria declared the military attacks at Mr. Kanu's residence as unconstitutional and a breach of his fundamental rights, and awarded him substantial monetary damages. In March 2018, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights issued an interim decision holding that the military attacks on Mr. Kanu and the contemporaneous proscription of Ipob violated the African Charter, and accordingly, the ACHPR wrote the former president of Nigeria to remedy the situation, but the government of Nigeria never implemented the provisional measures to this day. As a direct consequence of the self-military invasion and the nationwide manhunt for him, Mr. Kanu was compelled to flee Nigeria in search of refuge and to save his life. In the course of his involuntary exile, Mr. Kanu on 12th May 2021 entered the Republic of Kenya as a British subject and was legally admitted on his British passport. After his admission, he settled in at a temporary location in Nairobi, Kenya. After failing in the objective of killing Mr. Kanu during the September 2017 military operation against him, and being aware that he had taken refuge in Kenya, security forces of the government of Nigeria hotly pursued Mr. Kanu to Kenya and laid in wait and ambushed him. On June 19, 2021, Mr. Kanu drove himself to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Nairobi, Kenya, on a personal errand. As soon as he pulled to a stop at the parking lot and alighted from his vehicle, several armed security agents working for the government of Nigeria violently accosted and abducted him, handcuffed him, blindfolded him, bundled him in a vehicle, and sped away. The abductors took him to a nondescript private house, not a police station or other official location, somewhere in Nairobi, Kenya, and chained him to the floor. Mr. Kanu was not shown any Kenyan arrest warrant or extradition warrant, nor was he informed of the existence of any such warrant. His abductors took turns beating him and torturing him, taunting him, and verbally degraded him. He remained chained to the floor for 8 days, was not allowed to bathe, was fed bland bread once a day, and given non-sanitary water to drink. He was not taken before a Kenyan court or even a Kenyan police station or the official law enforcement facility or even allowed a phone call. The court wrongfully ordered him detained with secret police, state security services, instead of a prison facility, which is a clear violation of the provisions of the Nigerian Prisons Act, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution on right to counsel. The court awarded significant damages against the federal government of Nigeria, ordered it to apologize to Mr. Kanu. On 13th October 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal delivered a judgment, holding that the mode of transferring Mr. Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria amounted to extraordinary rendition. Accordingly, the court discharged Mr. Kanu from all criminal charges pending against him. On 15 December 2023, the Nigerian Supreme Court remitted Mr. Kanu's case back to the originating High Court to consider the charges which stand against him. However, the Appellate Court strongly condemned both the said military attacks against Mr. Kanu and his extraordinary rendition. Till date, however, the case file is yet to be transmitted to the High Court, and the said judgment of remittal is yet to be enrolled and certified, thus leading to a situation where Mr. Kanu remains in limbo without any clear prospect of ever being brought to trial since this saga began almost 9 years ago in 2015. Mr. Kanu is gravely ill with 3 life-threatening conditions, namely a serious heart condition, hypertension, and low potassium levels. All of these serious conditions demand specialist medical care and interventions that are not available at the facility where he is being detained or even in Nigeria as a whole. And the government of Nigeria is fully aware of this. In view of the foregoing, we hereby most respectfully present the following prayers for the consideration of the House of Laws. Urgently intervene with His Majesty's government, strongly urging it to promptly make demands on the GON, that's Government of Nigeria, to unconditionally release Mr. Kanu from detention and repatriate him to the United Kingdom, and to levy sanctions against the Government of Nigeria if it fails to comply within a reasonable time. It is pertinent to stress the point that extraordinary rendition inherently destroys every prospect for a fair trial in the jurisdiction that levied the rendition, and UK courts have held in a plethora of cases that extraordinary rendition creates a barrier to the trial of a suspect. This was precisely the reason the United Kingdom had in 1984 denied Nigeria's former application to extradite Umar Diko after his aborted extraordinary rendition from the UK. In a humble view, Mr. Kanu is no different, except that his case bears more equities because of his British nationality as compared to Mr. Diko, who was not a British citizen. Additionally, extraordinary rendition is by itself a form of torture and should shock the conscience of the Parliament, especially when considered together with the actual physical torture levied on Mr. Kanu by agents of the government of Nigeria in Kenya and the solitary confinement to which Mr. Kanu has been subjected to in Nigeria since June 2021. It is settled that torturing a British citizen overseas triggers the universal criminal jurisdiction of British courts. In alternative to above, your lordships are prayed to promptly intervene with His Majesty's government, strongly urging it to make binding proposals to the government of Nigeria to agree to conduct Mr. Kanu's trial in the United Kingdom, in addition to the fact that all the charges leveled against Mr. Kanu by the government of Nigeria are alleged to have been committed by him from British soil. There are other legal reasons why Mr. Kanu should be tried in the UK rather than Nigeria. Human rights, nationality and citizenship. Mr. Kanu is a dual citizen of Nigeria and the United Kingdom. As a British citizen, he has the right to seek legal protections from the UK government, which includes demanding that the UK be the venue for his trial. Human rights concerns. There are genuine concerns about the human rights situation and the treatment of defendants in Nigeria. Given Mr. Kanu's British citizenship, he will be more likely to receive a fair trial and be treated in accordance with international human rights standards if the trial is held in the UK. Diplomatic considerations. The UK and Nigeria have a history of good diplomatic relations. Thus, the UK should have an interest in ensuring that one of its citizens receives fair treatment in a criminal trial not conducted in Nigeria but in the UK. Security and safety. We have real concerns about the security and safety of Mr. Kanu, including particularly potential threats to his life in Nigeria, evidenced by government of Nigeria's military operations against Mr. Kanu in 2017. The extraordinary rendition in 2021, the physical torture in Kenya, and the persistent solitary confinement in Nigeria. Fair trial and political interference. There are concerns about political interference in the legal process in Nigeria. A trial in the UK should mitigate these concerns as well as ensure that the legal proceedings are fair and free from undue political influence. There is also every likelihood, as has happened before, that the government of Nigeria will not abide by acquittal of Mr. Kanu by a Nigerian court, an alternative to paragraph 2 above, but for the same reasons stated therein. The Parliament may intervene with His Majesty's government, urging it to make binding proposals to the government of Nigeria to agree to conduct Mr. Kanu's trial in a mutually agreed neutral third country other than Nigeria and the UK, as was done in the Lockerbie trial of Libyan nationals. Esteemed members of the House of Lords, our decision to lay this petition before you was propelled by the undue levity with which His Majesty's government has so far handled this matter. Mr. Kanu believes that he has not been accorded the full legal and diplomatic protections he is entitled to as a bona fide British subject. I've stopped quoting now. So, this is